Liz, is this a great idea? Option 1, option 2. Oh my god. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Luz. I'm a fantasy obsessed book lover, and on my channel we talk about all things books. In this week's video, we are of course going to be discussing my July TBR. Now for the past couple of TBRs, I have been using my prompt cards and it's been really fun and I've really enjoyed doing it that way. But I wanted to switch it up a little bit this month. So this month, you guys have blindly picked the majority of my TBR. And I was really nervous for this. I was like, Luz, is this a great idea? I don't know, we're gonna find out. But no, it was actually really exciting and I trust you guys implicitly, even if you are blindly choosing the reads based on colours and emojis that really didn't represent any of the books particularly well. But you know, there's only so much you can do with the emojis you have. So that being said, grab yourselves a drink, let's get cozy and let's talk about my July TBR and a taste test. 10/10. So over on my Instagram, I put up stories with the covers covered up with the colours of what the cover was, if that makes sense, and then also with the emojis that I thought represented the books. Option 1, option 2. Some of you did message me being like, is this book? Is this what this is? And some of you were spot on, to be honest. Some of you were spot on. Some of you I could completely see where you were coming from with your guesses. And I was like, you know what? That would have been a way better shout. But I know for next time. So let's dive in to the first two options. So the first option was starting a new fantasy series, which I'm always really excited about. And these two options were amazing. One of them I had been saying I've been gonna read for a few months now. The other one is a new recent purchase, but one that has been on my TBR for so long and that I am desperate to get to. So I'm not gonna lie, I was leaning a little bit towards one more than the other. So first up we had a black cover with 3 emojis, rain, a fairy, and a drop of blood. The book that was Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Roerich. This is the one that I've been saying I'm going to read for a few months now and I just haven't got around to it. I am super excited to read these. I did think my emojis were spot on because, you know, rain, obviously that is quite obvious. I know that it's about Fae and I know that there's this whole source situation where the Fae are sworn to a life of servitude in terms of giving their blood to one of the heirs of the 6 kingdoms, and that's kind of the premise of the book. So I do think those emojis were pretty spot on actually. And the other option was a grey kind of cover. This cover is multicolored, so I kind of could have gone for any, but I thought the grey one might have made it a little bit more mysterious. And then we had a bride, some swords, and a skull. And the book in question was A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The bride was obviously because she's a maiden in this. I kind of thought that was a little bit of a representation of that. And then we've got swords because obviously it's gods, there's fighting, that kind of stuff. And then we have got a skull. Why did we have a skull? In this, she is the consort to the primal of death, and so that was a little nod to that. Not the most obvious of choices in terms of emojis, but you know, I'm not mad at them. Anyway, this was the one that I was leaning towards that I am really wanting to start, but you guys ended up picking Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Roerich. This was 52% and this was 48%. So we weren't miles away from picking this one up, but the people have spoken. So the first book on our July TBR is Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Roerich. Now the next option was continuing a series I've started. Both of these books are slightly different genres, and I thought that was okay because they are part of a series. So I do wonder whether you guys knew what one of them was, because the amount of people who chose one of the options was quite a large percentage. So first up, we had a black cover with a black heart, a hospital, and a brain. They were the 3 emojis, and it was for God of War by Rena Kent. Now, this is this the 5th book or the 6th book? I don't know what number we're at, but either way, this is the most recent book in the Legacy of God series by Irina Kent. And this I am intrigued to read. I haven't heard the best things, but also the main character in this, he's super mysterious. But this follows Eli and Ava. Basically, Ava wakes up in a hospital bed with no memory of the last 2 years, and she wakes up to discover that she's married to Eli. What? How's that happened? What's happening there? What's going on? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what's happening or how that, you know, like, what? But anyway, Eli is also with Ava. Ava cannot stand him. And that's the kind of premise for this one. So, you know, memory loss was the brain, hospital, she wakes up in hospital, and it's dark romance, so hence the black heart. And then the second option was a pink cover with a butterfly, and the butterfly is because the butterfly is on the cover. It's on the cover, and so I was like, oh, will anybody guess what that means? And then we've got a heart with a bandage on because this is gonna break me. It's gonna break me. And then the final one was a little arm strength situation because what these characters go through, they are in a league of their own. I do not know how they get through what they get through. They are a different league of strength. So that was why I chose those 3 emojis for this book. The butterfly, can you see? Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. You guys obviously decided that July was the month that I was gonna get my heart broken and shattered into a million teeny tiny pieces because 70% of you picked Redeeming 6. 30% for God of War, 70% for Redeeming 6. So what can I say? It's the summer of heartbreak. It's the summer of emotional devastation. It's been a few months since I read the first part of Joey and Aoife's story, so I'm really, really excited to finish up with them, to see what happens, see what we have in store. Those stories literally live rent-free in my mind, so I know exactly where we left off with the last book. I'm ready. I'm here for it. You know the way to my heart, and the way to my heart is emotional devastation. Yeah. What does that say about me? The next option was romantasy, and one of these books has been on my TBR for over a year. The other book is a brand new purchase, and I'm screaming and chomping at the bit to read. I want to read it right now. I want to read it today. Let me talk through the options, and then I can tell you which one was picked. So the first option was like this greeny turquoisey colour, and to be honest, that's not actually really the cover. There's a little detailing around the edge that's that colour. The rest of it, I mean, there is actually, now I'm looking at it, there's a lot of colours happening, a lot of colours going on, but the basis of the colour is black, but so is, yeah, the other one's also almost black as well. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna switch things up, and I'm gonna make this a little bit more mysterious. We're gonna go with the green color. And then the emojis that I chose were a fairy, a dagger, and the earth. Now I'm actually looking at the book. I feel like I actually knocked it out of the park with those emojis because the book in question is Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley. And obviously this is set within a fae realm. We've got a dagger because there's a sword / dagger situation happening on the cover, and earth because it's in the title. Now this is the one that I'm desperate to read. This is the one that's a new release, and I am so excited for, and I feel like is going to be a new favourite of mine. If you guys know M Fun, I saw her talk about this book. We have extremely similar taste, and she is one of my favourite creators. I trust her recommendations implicitly, and she did a review about this, and straight away I was like, okay, add to cart. In this world we follow Kenna. She is a human in a fae world, and the fae are ruthless and they rule the realm. And she must help her mistress pass these 6 trials, and there's a trial for every branch of magic. So you've got fire, you've got earth, light, void, illusion, and blood. If they win, her mistress gains immortality. If they lose, they both, yeah. The stakes are pretty high with this one. It's supposed to be a dark, enchanting page turner. I really want to read this one, you guys. And then on the other side of things, the second option in this category was like a dark purpley color, and we have got an elven princess, we have got a crown, and then we've got, well, it's a troll, but it's kind of like a monster. That was the vibe I was going for. Not too sure how good I did with that one, but the book is A Fate of Wrath and Flame. This is the one that's been on my TBR for over a year. year. I think I got this for Christmas maybe, and I'd heard amazing things. I really have wanted to read it. I just haven't had the desire to pick it up. So our FMC Romario in this, she's a jewelry thief. And one day her services are secured at knife point, sword point, whatever you want to call it. And she is wrenched from the world that she lives in into a realm of opposing thrones, elven societies, and elemental magic. And even crazier, she also wakes up in the body of an elven princess. And then she quickly realizes she's entangled in this deadly plot and she must keep her identity to herself at all costs, and especially keep them away from the king, the princess's betrothed. And the story proceeds from there. And to be honest, it does sound amazing. So of course, this one was the winner. 57% of you chose this, whereas 43% chose this. So in July, we're going to be reading A Fate of Wrath and Flame by K.A. Tucker. And I'm excited. Actually, now I've just read the back of it, I'm like, wait, why has it taken me so long to pick this up? And the final option was a romance read. And you guys really, really, really want me to get my heart ripped into this summer, don't you? That's all I'm going to say to start things off. But the first option was this limey, greeny, yellowy colour with a stethoscope, a little letter with a little heart on, and a hospital. That was obviously going to be Abby Jimenez with yours truly. This is the second book in this interconnected standalone series. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to be back with Abby Jimenez and the beautiful romances that she writes. This one follows Brianna, who's a doctor. Her divorce has just been finalized, but her brother is running out of time for a kidney donor. And then on top of that, the promotion that she wants is probably going to go to the male doctor. But just when everything feels like it's going wrong, nothing is going right, Dr. Jacob sends her a letter. And then suddenly him and Brianna are exchanging notes and sharing lunch dates and getting closer, all that kind of stuff. The story proceeds from there. You know the drill. Abby Jimenez is going to be great. And I've heard that with this series, the books just get better and better and better as they go. So I really enjoyed book one, but apparently this one, even better. And then the other option was a white cover and a heart wrapped in a bandage because emotional devastation, obviously. Then we've also got a little glass of whiskey and we've got a little wink emoji. I'm really bad at winking, I think, actually. Now I'm thinking, I'm cringing a little bit at myself. Not my finest work. Not my finest work. Open to interpretation. A lot of you thought this was a love letter to whiskey, and I can completely see why. As soon as I put it up on my stories, I was like, I bet that's what people think this is. It wasn't, but, you know, that is on my TBR as well, so maybe we'll get to that one at some point, but the book that it was is Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Now, this is a series that people absolutely rave about. It's a lot of people's all-time favorites series, like similar level to Boys of Tommen series is this. And my friend Inez has been telling me for so long to read this, and she thinks I'm gonna love it. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realise what this was actually about. The synopsis of this is that she's addicted to sex, he's addicted to booze, and the only way out is rock bottom. Highly, highly, highly anticipated for me. So the whole concept of this, I'm like, yeah, I want to read this right now. 66% of you chose Addicted to You, so this is what we are going to be reading in July. Can't wait. It's also super short as well. Well, I'm saying super short. It's short for like how big the series is. The series is huge, literally humongous, but we're not going to talk about that because, oh my god, if we like it, there's a lot more where this came from. I don't know if my heart is gonna make it through July, what with Redeeming 6 and Addicted to You. You guys are trying to write me off, I swear. I'm gonna be emotionally distraught, emotionally devastated. I'm not ready, but I've also never been more ready at the same time. So there was only 4 choices for July for you guys to choose from. That is what the lineup is looking like so far. The reason why there was only 4 as opposed to my usual 9 is because there's a few situations where there are some must reads that I have to read this month. So let's talk about those next. So first things first, I've obviously got my book club's pick of the month, and normally how it works is we do 3 fantasy, romantasy kind of options, and the 4th option is a wild card. We've been doing that for a few months now. Never has the wild card been chosen. The choices for the wild card options have always been great, but we just haven't been feeling them. Whereas this month, the wildcard option is having its moment. And the book that we're going to be reading is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Ratings and the reviews that I have seen for this have been incredible. Haven't heard a single bad thing, literally only amazing things. Again, I think it's supposed to really pull at your heartstrings a little bit. And I'm not gonna lie, I saw this and was like, Taylor Jenkins Reid, thinking like Seven Husbands, Malibu Rising, all that kind of stuff. No, this is about space. It's about NASA. I'm really excited to see how we all find this different type of genre within the book club and to see whether this lives up to the hype, and I cannot wait to read this one with you all. Then I'm also going on a little bookish staycation with some book girlies this month, and we are all gonna be reading the same book before we go, so that then when we do go on our staycation, we can have a little book club of our own. And the book that we're gonna be reading is Rose in Chains. I am absolutely feral for this book. Absolutely feral. I feel like it's gonna be my entire personality. I feel like it's gonna be incredible. This was originally a fanfic and has now been traditionally published as Rose in Chains, but the fanfic has got an incredible reputation on its own, and so I'm really excited to see what this is like. So this is going to be book 1 in the trilogy, and with this, the war is over but the bad guys have won. Our FMC briny is captured and the world as she knows it has changed forever, and her and the other survivors are auctioned off to the highest bidders. Now, as she's the heir apparent, she fetches the highest price, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good, but apparently all hope is not lost. That's kind of the premise. That is where we proceed from with this story, and I can't wait. I can't wait to read it. I think it's gonna be amazing. And then the other 2 books are series that I am hoping to continue this month. So I read Road of Bones in June and loved it. It was amazing. You'll get all my thoughts on that in my wrap up. But I would really like to read Kingdom of Claw this month. And just to try and like commit to finishing a series that I'm really enjoying. Love Book 1, so I'm like loose. If I don't read in July, I'm probably gonna end up putting it off and it'll get never read, which I don't want that to be the case because I really loved book 1. So Kingdom of Claw, we're gonna be reading in July. This is Viking romantasy, and boy oh boy oh boy is Demi Winters a mastermind at this genre. And then the other series that I would really love to continue with is Red Rising, which is Dark Age. Now, Dark Age has got a big reputation. It's got a reputation for being incredible. Book 5 and book 6, leagues of their own. So I would love to continue with this series. Don't get me wrong, book 4 took some brain power, took some figuring out. I left too long between book 3 and book 4. If you're in the same position of me and you're thinking, I'm gonna take a little breather from book 3 and book 4, do not leave it as long as I did. Oh my God, why did I do that? Why? I don't know, but I did, and the entire time was like, oh, this is taking a lot of work. I'm kind of enjoying myself, but I also low-key have no idea what's going on. But anyway, like I said, I'll get to that in my reading wrap up. But Dark Age, I would love to read that in July, so that's also on my TBR. And finally, the last book on my TBR is obviously going to be the creator's pick. As you guys know, I've been working my way through the 12 recommendations that the 12 incredible creators gave to me at the start of the year. Let's finish up by picking out our creator's pick for the month of July. There really is not a lot left in here. We got one. Let's see what it says. I'll let you guys read it first. Is that the right way? Empire of Flame and Thorns. Okay. This is about dragons. That is all I know. Livy was the one that gave me this recommendation, and I think it's like dragon romantasy. I'm excited because I feel as though it's not going to take a lot of brain power, this one. I feel as though it's going to just be like a bit of a vibey romantasy read. That's what I'm thinking. But that is our final book for July's TBR. That is everything that is on my July TBR. You guys have blindly picked 4 of these options for me, and I cannot wait to report back, to tell you all of my thoughts, to see how we get on. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for every single person that voted. And if you want to be involved next time I do this, head over to my Instagram, because that is where that will always take place. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for being involved, for picking these reads. I'm so grateful. And as always, thank you for watching and for joining me for this week's video. Hope you have a gorgeous week, and I will see you at the next one.